Good evening, everyone, and welcome to my podcast. This is the second edition, and today I'm using my front camera just to see if it makes any difference. So, yesterday I talked about a couple of things, how you should not pay the price for other people's mistakes, and I hope that that episode was good for you. I hope that you learned a couple of things from that episode. So, today I'll be talking about some of the things that were valuable to relationships that are no longer valuable to relationships. I remember growing up, there were a lot of things that were talked about, things that I followed, the rules that I enjoyed that worked for me in my relationships with the people that I had relationships with. But today, these things don't really work like that. And a lot of people don't really find these things as things that are important to them. And the reason is because the society has evolved and people have evolved as well. So people's needs and wants have changed. So that's the expectation. But I'm going to say it anyway. Look at some of the things that I'm going to say and see if they can work for you, because I know that they don't really work that much because people's priorities for relationships and people's desires have also changed. But you can learn a couple of things from these things and also tell me what you think and tell me some of the reasons why you think they don't work anymore. So growing up, I was a hopeless romantic, and I know that some people who are going to watch this video might be some of my friends, so they know me like a flirtatious person. But it wasn't just being flirtatious, it was me understanding women, understanding how to deal with women, understanding how to approach women, because I knew that women and men are not the same, so we have different needs, and to be able to have relationships with women, you have to understand them. It's the same thing with trying to have relationships with a man. You need to understand the man as well. So I had to learn a couple of things, read a couple of books, like lots of books, because I know that I needed to understand how to deal with women, because a lot of men cannot deal with women because they really don't understand how women operate. They think that women think like men, but women do not think like men in terms of romantic relationships. Like, it's a different ball game. So if you take your time to really sit down to try to understand women, you will know how to deal with them. So same thing with men as well. A lot of women want men to behave like women, or they want men to respond to relationships just the way they respond to relationships, but it doesn't work like that. So I'm going to say some of the things that used to work in relationships that don't work anymore because people's priorities have changed. But you can learn a couple of things from these things, and maybe you can meet someone who is old school like you, and the person can accept these things as things that they might prioritize in their relationship with you as well. So one of the things about that I learned, it was communicating openly. Communicating openly and honestly, talking about the things that you really mean, and not being ashamed to talk about it, because you know that these are the things that really bother you. So you talk about it and you allow the other person to express themselves as well and not be judgmental, because you know that the moment you start to become judgmental, then it means that you are creating a space where people cannot really express themselves or be honest to you. So communicating is an important aspect if you want to have a long-term relationship. That's one of the things that used to work. But today, it works, but it doesn't work so much because people have other priorities. Expressing yourself clearly and listening attentively, because one aspect of communication is also listening as well. So it's not just about talking to the person. It's about getting feedback, looking at the person if they understand exactly what you're talking about, and also listening to them as well to know their own perspective about what you're thinking or what you're talking about. Another thing is building trust. Building trust was one aspect that was very relevant to me, because I know that to be able to have a relationship, you have to build a foundation. So I needed to build trust. And to build trust, you have to be a reliable person, like somebody who can be relied on. If someone knows that they can rely on you, then it means that they can trust you. So trust is not just about talking or asking people to trust you. You have to be someone who is reliable, and you have proven yourself over time before people can start to trust you. So being reliable can help you build trust, and also being transparent. Talking about things beforehand, before your partner finds out about it, you're already talking about it. So the person knows beforehand that this is what is happening to you, or this is what has happened to you in the past, okay, or that this is the problem that you have at this moment. So that can also help you as well. But today, people don't really talk about building trust, because building trust requires you to be reliable and to be transparent. But because people have all this baggage that they're coming with, people have done a lot of things in the past that they are not really proud of. So it's very difficult for them to, build trust by being transparent. So people are hiding a lot of things. So it's part of the reason why the relationship dynamics has changed, because people cannot afford to be transparent. They've done too many things that they're not proud of, even though at the time when they did it, they felt like it didn't mean anything. But after a while, it became something that they were ashamed of. So now they cannot talk about it. So a lot of people cannot be transparent. Show appreciation by expressing gratitude and celebrating your partner. That's another strategy that really worked out for me. Like, I like to appreciate people's efforts and the things that people do for me. And it really, really helped me with my relationships with women. But today, people don't show appreciation. The expectation is so much that we can call it being delusional, that you do something for someone and the person feels like you are supposed to be doing it. That's not the way that relationships work. If you are in a relationship with someone, you are supposed to appreciate what the person is doing for you, because the person can actually decide not to do it. But in today's relationship, what we have is people who think that they deserve what they have not worked for. And even when you give them what they think they deserve, they will not appreciate it because they think that you are supposed to be doing it. And that's a very big problem. That's not going to help you keep any long-term relationships. If you are talking about short-term relationships or other forms of relationships, yes. But if it's long-term and you're not showing appreciation, of course, it's not going to work. So that's part of the reason why relationships don't work as well. Even this rule does not work because people don't show appreciation. People talk about what they want, and when you give them what they want, now they want something else, and when you give them that, they want something else. Like, when are you going to get to the point where you feel like this person has done enough for me, I am grateful and I am satisfied? People are not satisfied anymore because of the dissatisfaction. People are asking for more. So that is another thing that people have neglected in relationships: appreciation, and celebrating each other. Now you have a partner who has just achieved something, or who had just graduated. Now you don't want to tell them congratulations. You don't want to make them feel like they have done something, because you don't want them to see themselves in a new light where they might feel like they don't need you anymore. That insecurity, the idea of feeling inadequate, will make you not want to celebrate your partner, because you feel like celebrating your partner is going to make the person want to consider their position in your life. So what you do is you hide your feelings, or you downgrade some of the accomplishments. That's what's happening right now. Like, you see partners who are together, they both are achieving great strides and doing well for themselves, but they don't appreciate each other because they want to not seem like they acknowledge the person's growth, because that could, change the dynamics of the relationship. So it's also part of the reason why relationships are not working. But these things used to work before, because appreciating your partner makes your partner feel like you acknowledge the fact that they have now grown, and that their growth can be useful to that relationship and not be a threat to the relationship. Another thing that used to work before for me was managing conflict, not running away from conflict. Today, a lot of people run away from conflicts because they think that it is better to keep the peace. But keeping the peace in a relationship is just postponing the conflict, because conflict, it's inevitable. Like, it's something that is always going to happen in a relationship. So if you continue to avoid it, you are just postponing it. And it's eventually going to catch up with you, because you are creating a foundation where you feel frightened by confronting something that can be useful to your relationship, something that needs to be resolved to allow your relationship to thrive. So a lot of people are avoiding confrontations for a lot of reasons. Maybe they're avoiding confrontations because they're trying to keep the peace, or they avoid confrontations because they are afraid to offend their partners, or they avoid confrontations because they've had too many confrontations. Now, of course, I understand if you've had too many confrontations, you become tired about wanting to go over and over and over certain situations. It becomes very tiring. So I understand sometimes when people avoid conflicts, it's not because maybe they are afraid to lose their partners or they're trying to keep the peace. It could also be that they have had too many confrontations in that relationship and now they're just tired. They're just tired. So, but managing conflicts constructively is very helpful and very useful in relationships, because that is the only way you can determine what you want the outcome of the relationship to be. If you are not going to confront your partners and have conflicts and resolve those conflicts, it means that that relationship is not going to last. It means that you are just at the verge of a breakup. So, but it used to work for me. I always confront my partners. I like conflict. It's not because I start conflicts. Like, if there's something that is wrong, I talk about it. I approach the person. I confront the person, make clarifications. If there's a place where the person needs to make clarifications or explain certain things to me, I make them do it, because I am interested in the relationship. When you are confrontational or you meet your partners, it means that you are still interested in that relationship. So it used to work, but today it's different. Now, another thing that used to work for me as well was the priority of time. Like, prioritize time for your partners, like really being there for your partners. A lot of people are with their partners today, but they're not with them. You see, somebody can be in the restaurant with your partners and the both of them are on their phones. Why are you on your phone when you are with your partner? That's not ideal, because there's a difference between being with someone and being present. Most people are just with their partners, but they're not really present. Like, you can see it when we go to the cinemas, we go to bars, we go to restaurants. People come there and all of them are on their phones. And they don't think that it's a problem. Before, it used to be a problem. Like, all the times when I was, dating before I got married, a lot of people, like most of the girls that I dated, never had their phones. I know that it was a period where we didn't really have a lot of internet and all those things then, but there were other things that they could have been distracted by. But they never had their phones. I never had my phones. Like, we were present. We go to the zoo, we go to the museum, we go to all these nice places, and we were present. We enjoyed those places. And every time we got distracted, it was a problem. And each of us had to talk about it. Like, why are you being distracted? What's going on? But today, you cannot even complain about the fact that your partner is being distracted, because that would be controlling. But it used to be a criteria for a relationship that you needed to prioritize time, and prioritizing time for your partners means that you needed to be present. But today, that's a different ball game. But it used to work. Embrace growth is another thing. Like, most of the time when I was growing up, I never ever missed a seminar or a workshop. And seminars, inspirational workshops, workshops for relationships, seminars for relationships. Like, I was always going there to, improve myself, personal development, getting certifications, going back to school, getting different degrees, like continuous growth. You and your partner, you are on a journey of continuous growth. And as it relates to relationship as well, the both of you are learning new things that you can use to better the relationship. Now, when I was growing up, I had seminars that I went to that I will call my girlfriend to attend the seminar, and my girlfriend can also find seminars that she thinks that might be helpful to me. She'll call me as well to attend the seminar, and I'll go there. Or a workshop that can encourage me to work hard, to not give up, I will go there. If I see something that I think is also good for her as well, I'll tell her. She goes there. Like, continuous growth. We support each other. We're open to change. as we continue to grow, we know that our lives and our priorities are going to change. So we are all open-minded because we know that things are now changing for the both of us due to our growth. So we embrace growth. But today, people want their partners to remain the same, and they want their partners to also acknowledge their growth. How do you want your partner to remain the same and then you want your partner to acknowledge your growth? So it means that you don't want your partner to really grow because you know that that could be a threat to the relationship. So it's a lot of selfishness and all these things that are creating problems for relationships. Like all these things used to work because people were really honest with themselves. Like I talked about the first part when I talked about honesty and transparency. Like a lot of people are coming into relationships with a lot of baggages that they're not really proud of. So it's difficult for them to really embrace the whole idea of a whole full relationship. Okay, so another aspect is practice forgiveness. Practice forgiveness. Like you're dealing with a human being and you know that that person is not perfect. So the idea is that you know you're expecting that this person is going to do something that will make you feel bad. So your mind is already prepared that, okay, I'm going to forgive this person if this person does this. If this person behaves this way, this is how I'm going to respond to it because I know that this person is not perfect. And the expectation is that I expect that this person is going to do this as well, forgive me as well, because the person knows that I am not perfect. No, that's the idea of a relationship. But you see what we have today, we're all looking for red flags, like red flags. You say, if the person does this, it's a red flag, leave them alone. If the person doesn't text you in the morning, it's a red flag, leave them alone. If the person responds to your text after 5 minutes, it's a red flag, leave them alone. Like it's too much giving up. Like at the first mistake, people are willing to walk away from a relationship just by not responding on time or by you responding very late. People are willing to walk away. People are willing to jeopardize a relationship that they've built for years just over something that can be forgiven when they are going to deal with another human being. As long as you're going to deal with human beings, you should expect that they're not going to be perfect. It's not possible to find someone who is going to be perfect. So the thing is, you have to make up your mind to determine to what extent you are going to forgive this person. Like I'm coming into this relationship already knowing that I'm coming to deal with a human being. So I know that I have an obligation to determine to what extent I'm going to forgive this person. So it's not like you're just coming there and then you are just not going to consider the fact that you're dealing with a human being. And the first error that this person is going to make, you're going to throw them away. It doesn't work that way because at the end of the day, you're dealing with human beings and the next person you're going to deal with might just be worse than the person that you left alone for something that you could have overlooked. So with practice forgiveness was something that really worked out for me. Like I had a lot of people who offended me and I was not angry about it because I already made up my mind that I am coming to deal with a human being. I'm going into this relationship to deal with this person who is a human being just like me, who is an imperfect person. So I have had it in my mind that I was going to forgive them to this extent. Same thing they thought as well. So it was very reciprocal. But today, people do not even practice forgiveness. Like you see people going through divorce over things that they can overlook. You know, people breaking up relationships for things that are very flimsy, that are not even as serious as something that should be considered for a breakup. So it was, it's very unfortunate, but that's the way we are now. So some of these rules that I'm giving you, like I told you before, there are things that used to work that don't work anymore. But you can also look at them very critically and you can apply them. They could eventually work. Maybe people's priorities can change because I know that the reason why a relationship has changed is because the society has evolved and people's priorities for a relationship has changed as well. So that's part of the reasons why some of these things do not work anymore. But you can learn about them and still think about it and still apply them and maybe they might work. Another thing about the thing that used to work before was maintaining your individuality, like maintaining your individuality, pursuing your interest, and avoiding codependency. I used to be an individual who liked music, and I had girls who liked to travel or who liked to hike. You know, I liked to read and visit the museums. There were girls who liked to read as well and maybe visit the zoo. So everybody maintained their individuality, but we could come together at some point to enjoy each other's interest. But today, you see, because of the way that relationship has turned out to be, people are so insecure that they cannot even allow their partners to be an individual. Like, you want to do everything with your partner because you're just afraid that that person might maybe jilt you, or might find somebody who's more interesting, or might not be interested in you anymore. So you want to be there, but you want to be there. And the society has also made it very, very, very easy, or has also made it acceptable that whatever it is that you want to do, you have to do it with your partner. That's not the way relationships work, because you have decided to stay with somebody for the rest of your life, but you have interest that this person might not be interested in, and that's not a problem. It's a good thing that you have something that you are interested in as an individual, that makes you an individual, and it's a good thing that the person also has something that makes them an individual. Now, sometimes the both of you can come together to share these things and enjoy each other's interest, but sometimes you could leave each other to just go and enjoy their interest. Like, you could leave your partner to go to a book club while you're in the house, maybe watching a football game, or you could leave your partner to go hiking while you go cycling. It's a good thing that you and your partner should have similar interests, or you should do things together, but that can also impact your relationship, because now the both of you are always together and you don't have any space or any time for yourself, like to really do something and maybe concentrate and make new connections. So that's an aspect, and that's a reason. One of the reasons why that happens is because of the kinds of insecurity that we have. A lot of people are so insecure that they cannot even let their partners leave. So it creates codependency, and codependency can be very dangerous, because that's where you have all kinds of abuse. Like, you see people who are going through abuse who cannot leave those relationships because they have created a bond or some kind of dependency with your partners that it will be difficult for them to walk away. So it's not an ideal thing to not have your individual interest or not maintain your individuality. Okay, now the last thing that I want to talk about is seeking help. Seeking help. All through the period when I was going through relationships, there were always opportunities or places or something that I could reach out to get help, to find out about what is going on in my relationship. And what I'm talking about is a source that is unbiased. I'm not talking about somebody that is going to tell me exactly what I want to hear, or look for something that will justify why I am acting the way I am acting, or that will make me feel right. But today what we have is that people are seeking help from someone who is going to tell them that they are right, who is going to justify their behavior. Now, your relationship is not working. The ideal thing is to find help. And in seeking help, you should look for someone who is an unbiased person, who can look critically into the situation and tell you exactly what they think might be going on with you honestly. But seeking help is not just going to find someone who will confirm your bias, or like a confirmation bias kind of thing, where you already think about your situation in a certain way and you're just looking for someone to tell you that you are right so that you can carry on with the decisions that you already have in your mind, But I believe that seeking help is one of the fundamental aspects of relationship, because you are dealing with someone that is coming from a different background. So you might find it very difficult to understand them after a while. So you need help, and you need help from someone who has experience and who will give you the kind of information that can help you to understand what is really going on in your relationship, and not someone who will maybe just justify or tell you that, oh yes, you are right, that person is wrong, so you should leave them or walk away and all that, Anyway, so today I gave you some of the things that I feel that used to work before in the past, and right now they don't work anymore because people's priorities have changed for relationships. The society has evolved, so people have evolved as well with the society. But some of the things that I talked about, you can also check them out. You can apply them, see if they will still work, see if it aligns with the kind of person that you want to be with. And if it doesn't, it means that that person has also evolved with the society as well. Because I know that as we continue to evolve, it becomes difficult for us to go back to the past. Anyway, this is the episode 2 of the No Excuses podcast. And I want to thank you so much for watching. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell so that you can get notifications anytime I make a new video. Thank you so much for listening. I will be making another episode in the coming days, and I hope that this message and the videos and the content that are being created on this space, on this platform, becomes something that will be of benefit to you. This is Good Luck, and this is the No Excuses podcast. Have a great evening.